Garcelle Beauvais insists Kyle Richards share her life or leave the show as OG claps back. If there's one thing we know about Garcelle Beauvais, it's that she's not one to sugarcoat anything, and she thinks it's time for Kyle Richards to go. Garcelle's bluntness is why some viewers love her and the reason others have been consistently dragging her on social media. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star is about to upset many people, including Kyle, over her recent bold statement. The actress expressed in the RHOBH after show that Kyle needs to share her life with the audience or leave the show. The OG has already responded to the comment, highlighting the many things she has shared during her 14 seasons on the franchise. She also asked Garcelle, "What are we seeing from your life?" Garcelle Beauvais says it's time for Kyle Richards to leave RHOBH. Garcelle had a message for Kyle while discussing the OG on the RHOBH after show, and this one is sure to garner lots of social media chatter. The mom of three blasted Kyle for not opening up about her life, noting that she should exit the show if she didn't want to do that. Garcelle joined her BFFs Sutton Strack and Jennifer Tilly, who all agreed that Kyle is guarded about certain parts of her life. "Even before I joined the group, I knew Kyle to be the one to like to open up and share," Garcelle admitted. She continued, "She's been on for 14 seasons. She's shared a lot of her life, but if you no longer want to show a certain part, then you've got to leave." Meanwhile, Garcelle almost got her wish this season because Kyle briefly quit the show during filming but later returned. Kyle Richards claps back at Garcelle Beauvais. During her appearance on the RHOBH after show, Kyle shut down the claim that she doesn't share her life. "I have shown my life for 14 years, reasoned Kyle, adding that her hands were tied this season because one topic was off limits. "Morgan, there were some things that I was asked not to address that affected other people," said the 56-year-old, adding that she's happy to talk about her life, not others. The OG addressed her castmate's comment, noting, "I just don't understand Garcelle saying that." "What are we seeing from your life?" retorted Kyle. "What are we actually seeing? I just don't understand that comment at all." Check out the latest RHOBH after show below and tell us if you're Team Kyle or Team Garcelle. Garcelle Beauvais had finally had enough. The tension between her and Kyle Richards had been simmering for years, but now it was reaching a boiling point. At the latest Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, Garcelle sat poised, her expression unreadable, as Andy Cohen turned his attention to the elephant in the room. "Kyle, Garcelle, let's get into it," Andy prompted, his signature smirk in place. There's been a lot of chatter that Kyle isn't being as open with her life as she expects everyone else to be. "Garcelle, do you think Kyle holds back?" Garcelle exhaled sharply before leaning forward. "Absolutely, Andy. We all sign up for this show knowing what it entails: transparency, honesty, and letting people into our lives. But Kyle? She cherry-picks what she wants to show and what she wants to hide. And frankly, that's not fair." Kyle, who had been sitting cross-legged in a sleek black dress, scoffed, tossing her hair over her shoulder. "Oh please, Garcelle. I've shared my life for 13 years. My family, my friendships, my ups and downs. It's all been out there." "Has it, though?" Garcelle shot back, arching a perfectly sculpted brow. "Because the Kyle I see on Instagram versus the Kyle I see on this show. Two completely different people. You want to produce your narrative, and when we push back, suddenly we're the villains." Lisa Rinna, despite having left the show, would have been cackling if she were there. Instead, Sutton Strack and Crystal Kung Minkoff exchanged glances, while Dorrit Kemsley sipped her water, visibly uncomfortable. Andy, never one to miss an opportunity for drama, pressed on. "Garcelle, what exactly do you think Kyle is hiding?" Garcelle hesitated for only a second before answering. "For starters, her marriage. We're supposed to pretend that all those rumors about her and Mauricio never existed. That she didn't do an entire press tour acting like everything was perfect while dodging real questions. Yet, if it were one of us, she'd be at the front of the pack demanding answers." Kyle's mouth set into a thin line. I have talked about my marriage struggles on the show. When it was convenient for you, Garcelle retorted. We had to drag it out of you while you kept posting cryptic messages and acting like we were crazy for asking. You don't get to play both sides, Kyle. Either share your life, like the rest of us do, or step away. A hush fell over the room. Kyle's face remained composed, but her eyes flashed with irritation. "Oh, so now you get to decide who stays and who leaves?" she asked, her voice edged with sarcasm. Garcelle didn't flinch. "No, but the audience does. And they're tired of watching a Kyle-produced storyline while the rest of us bleed for this show." Andy cleared his throat, sensing the moment was reaching its peak. "Kyle, what do you say to that?" Kyle sighed dramatically, shifting in her seat. "Look, I get it. The show thrives on drama and real moments, and I have given plenty of both over the years. But at the end of the day, there are some things I need to protect. And yet, you never protect anyone else's business." Sutton cut in, her southern drawl adding a sting to her words. "You were happy to speculate about my ex-husband, about Erica's legal drama, even about Dorrit's break-in. But when it's your turn in the hot seat, suddenly it's I need to protect my privacy. Doesn't work that way, sugar." Dorrit, sensing her name being thrown in, interjected cautiously. "I do think Kyle has been open in the past, but I also see Garcelle's point. It does feel a little selective at times." Kyle exhaled, her patience visibly wearing thin. "I don't know every detail of my life to this show." "Then why are you still here?" Garcelle challenged. "Because this isn't a legacy show, Kyle. We're not here to watch you be the queen bee while keeping your real life behind closed doors. The audience sees through it, and so do we." Kyle's jaw tightened. "I built this show. I have been here since day one. And I'll be damned if someone who has only been here for 4 seasons tells me whether or not I belong." Garcelle shrugged, entirely unfazed. "Then act like you belong. Show your reality. Not some curated, PR-friendly version of it." Andy leaned forward, sensing the goldmine of reality TV tension unfolding before him. "Kyle, do you feel like you've been unfairly targeted this season?" Kyle's expression softened, but her walls remained up. "I feel like I've given so much of myself for years, and suddenly, it's not enough. And honestly, that hurts." Garcelle, despite her hard stance, nodded slightly. "No one is saying you haven't given a lot, Kyle. But right now, it feels like you want the perks of the show without the accountability that comes with it. And that's not fair to the rest of us." Andy looked at Kyle, then at Garcelle. "So where do we go from here?" Kyle lifted her chin. "I stay. And I do things my way. And if anyone doesn't like it, tough." Garcelle smirked. "Well, I guess the fans will decide." The room remained silent, but the tension crackled like a live wire. One thing was clear. Kyle Richards might be the longest-running diamond holder, but Garcelle Beauvais wasn't afraid to shake the foundation beneath her.